Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, Monday, July 14th, 2025. Now, of course, we're still covering all things Diddy. There was supposed to be a filing by the government on offense conduct due on Friday. It's not in the docket, but we've held off, but we have to do it. This Jeffrey Epstein matter, here's our take on it. Behind me in 40 Foley, there was the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, actually, behind me is the MCC, where Epstein reportedly was dead. But behind that, after that, and a more serious thing that was actually able to be covered, there was a trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. And we covered it daily. And we put out a book called Maximum Maxwell that you can find. But it's more than that. We had covered Ghislaine Maxwell back. Here's the news hook of today. It is reported that Ghislaine Maxwell is willing to testify about the whole Jeffrey Epstein, l'affaire Jeffrey Epstein, whether to provide a list or to say there is no list, to tell the full and complete truth, she says, it is reported, about Jeffrey Epstein, probably in exchange for either a pardon or reduction of sentence. She's serving 20 years in a federal penitentiary in Florida. Today, as it happens, DOJ's response to her Supreme Court appeal is due, and we're going to be following that as closely as possible. But what I want to say about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein is that there is a UN connection. Yes, it's true. When I was inside the UN, before being ousted, in fact, I asked a question of Ghislaine Maxwell. She had a UN press conference, believe it or not. Noted sex trafficker. It was already known that she was involved with Epstein, who had gotten the sweetheart deal for child sexual abuse in Florida. And she held a press conference, and I asked a question, and soon thereafter, I was ousted from the UN. Have been ousted ever since. Maybe it's a blessing, because I've now covered the courts. But I'm not, they don't even respond to my applications to re-enter. And beyond that, I just saw somebody from the court, so it threw me off a bit. But they don't answer written questions, including on this topic. But here was the connection. There's an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell saying, go forward with your Oceans Conference. It'll help put it all behind us. The Oceans Conference was inside the United Nations. There are many more connections. You can find them on Maximum Maxwell, but I resisted, but I'm in, because it's also a big political issue. How it's being handled, how the strange, sudden celebration of some by opponents of others. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, because I've got to get the Diddy thing you've heard. We're going to be trying to track down that filing, because it was due and it should have been docketed. There are three, count them, three at least, trials starting in SDNY today. The big one that we're trying to be covering, we've been covering from the indictment, is Roman Storm. For the Tornado Cash crypto mixing. He's basically accused of helping money laundering. And there's going to, as we reported, Judge Fela has ruled that there can be a mention of North Korea and its Lazarus group, hacking group. But there cannot, she says, be mention of the weapons of mass destruction programs of North Korea. It's too explosive for the jury to think that the defendant somehow was helping Kim Jong-un get a nuke. But just helping Kim Jong-un, that's what they're going to allege. There's a lot of evidentiary issues. We've covered them all, twists and turns. Jury selection is today. Second trial, best well known outside of it, is one called U.S. versus Pena, or overall U.S. versus Rosado. It's a gun trafficking case, but it's going to be heavily litigated, because Pena, as it turns out, was assigned as CJA counsel Simpson Thatcher, and a guy called Mr. Bell, who used to be with the prosecutors, who's really ready to rumble on this fight. So there's motions to suppress, there's all kinds of stuff, and it's going to be really something. It's a civil case about a luxury boutique hotel on Spring Street allowing a sexual assault to take place, allegedly, inside its premises, and how it's responsible. So we're going to be juggling all three of those. We're also, obviously, on this Boston trial of the American Association of Professors, who are suing Rubio for the policy of going after pro-Palestine, allegedly pro-Hamas students. So we're covering that one. It's bogged down because the government gave in some emails that they now want to claim privilege for. Judge Young, rather than wait for the First Circuit, seems to want to go forward. So we're covering that as well. But we're also covering the UN, and we will be asking them the very questions that I just raised here and more. Specifically, not just about their current rapes by peacekeepers, but by their role, unseemly as it is, including a fundraiser by a UN correspondent who's allowed in while we're out. Celia de la Varenne, we've published it a number of times. She did a fundraiser with Ghislaine Maxwell. We've published the photo. The French ambassador, François Delattre, was there. Unbelievable. We will not cease. Inner City Press, to be continued.